What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out a very unique looking electric bicycle. The one that I have here today, it's called the Himiway Cruiser. As you can see, we have massive wheels on this bike. We have 26-inch wheels and also 4-inch wide tires, and that makes this bike look very unique. The bike is also powered by a 750 watt motor that's in the rear wheel here. We get a range of up to 100 kilometers on one charge, depending how you're riding it, where you're riding it, of course, and a top speed of up to 40 kilometers an hour. Now, whenever you get this out of the box, it is locked to 25 kilometers an hour, but it is super easy to unlock, and then the maximum speed for it is 40 kilometers an hour. Let's start a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you the box and how it comes in the box. Alright, so as you'd expect, the bike comes in a pretty massive box, and the box is also pretty heavy because the bike itself weighs 32 kilos. Now, inside the box, you're gonna find the bike disassembled a bit, so you do have to do a bit of an installation. You have to put together the handlebar, you have to put together the front wheel and the mud guards. It's gonna take you about, I don't know, half an hour to put this together, but once you put it together, you can take it out and start riding right away. In the box, you're also going to find a charger for the bike. So charging this from 0 to 100 is done in about 7 to 8 hours. So it does take a while to charge this. You basically charge it overnight. And the battery is located right here. The battery is also removable. So we do get two keys, and with the keys you can remove the battery. So this easy, you can basically take the battery upstairs or wherever you are charging the bike, charge it, and then whenever it's charged you can bring it back and put it back in here. Unfortunately, the keys don't act as an ignition lock, so the bike is not locked. If you leave it like this somewhere, someone can just come, power it on and start riding. So the keys are only used so you can actually remove the battery pack. Taking a closer look at the bike, as I mentioned earlier, on the back and on the front here we have 26-inch wheels, and these are also 4-inch wide tires. So this is what called the fat tires, and that's why the bike looks unique, because of those tires. Because we have these massive tires, the bike is also pretty decent over uneven terrain. We do have a front suspension here, but the tires do most of the work to keep you comfortable whenever you're riding on the road. So if you need to jump a curve, if you have some uneven terrain, no problem for these massive tires. The front wheel here can also be removed quite easily. So you'd unlock this and then you can take out the front wheel. Now, of course, that makes sense if you need to carry this in your car's trunk, because the bike does become a bit smaller if you remove that front wheel. As you can see, the bike itself is pretty massive, so in most elevators this is not gonna fit. So keep that in mind if you do have to take this up the stairs. It is a heavy bike, 32 kilos, so it's not easy to carry up the stairs basically. Now, of course, the rear wheel cannot be removed. First of all, because we have the motor in the rear wheel there, and we also have the shifter on the back there. So this bike, we get a 7-speed setup. So even if you don't want to use the electric motor, you can just lower the gears and you can still pedal up most hills. But whenever you're using the electric motor, the bike has a lot of power. So it doesn't matter what kind of hill you're riding on, the bike will assist you, so you don't actually have to put that much work into climbing any hill. Here we have a lot of hills, and I did climb a lot of hills with it, and no problems whatsoever. And I'm actually going to take you on a short ride just so I can show you how this performs whenever going uphill. Okay, so we are going for a bit of uphill riding. You can see the hill right ahead of me. I already have the bike on. I have it in assistance mode number 3 and in the 3rd gear here. So we're gonna go all the way up there. So it's super simple. You start moving by accelerating here, and then you start pedaling. So as you can see, the hill here is quite steep, but I don't actually have to put that much effort into climbing this. We can also move to assistance level number 4. So of course this will give you even more power, and you'll try to get to the top speed for that assistance mode, which is about 25 kilometers an hour if I remember correctly. Now you can hear the motor a bit going up this hill, and as you can see, the hill here is quite steep. If I would have to pedal, I would actually have to put a lot of effort into pedaling on this. So yeah, nice and comfortable riding on hills like this with a bike like this. So that 750 watt motor definitely helps a lot in situations like this. And this hill keeps going and going and going and going. So if you do have a lot of hills that you have to climb, having an electric bike makes such a difference for comfort and, well, ease of use, and so you don't get that tired. Because if I would have to ride uphill without an electric bike, yeah, I would definitely be sweating on a hill like this. So the hill is getting even steeper around here, as you can see, and the terrain is not that nice around here, so a bit uneven, I'm gonna say. You can probably hear the motor a bit. We also have mud guards on the back here and on the front. These are made out of plastic. You also have to install these when you first take the bike out of the box. And if you don't like the way it looks with these, I mean, if you're not gonna ride whenever it rains, you can probably remove them. And I think the bike actually looks pretty cool with them removed. But I have them on just so you can see how the bike looks with them on, because most people will ride this in the rain basically all the time. On the back here, we also have this little thing where you can put like a bag or something like that. So if you need to carry something, this will make it easier. I don't think you're gonna be able to carry passengers on the back here. We also have mechanical disc brakes on the back here, and of course on the front. I believe these are 180mm disc brakes. It would have been nice to see hydraulic brakes, but as it is, the bike has plenty of stopping power, so I never actually felt the need that I need more power. I mean, you just brake a bit harder if you need to stop a bit quicker. And this is a quick test just so I can show you how the braking works on this. Coming back to our bike, on this side here we also have the kickstand. This is made out of a combination of plastic and metal. So it's metal on the inside, but we have some plastic on the outside. The kickstand is quite sturdy, so I never had any issues whenever the bike is sitting on the kickstand. The pedals are made out of metal, but they're not foldable. But I guess the bike is pretty big regardless, so it doesn't even matter if those fold or not. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a front suspension. Now, it does have a bit of travel, and the front suspension does help a bit whenever you're going over uneven terrain, but the massive tires that we have on the bike do most of the work to keep you comfortable, basically. On the front here, we also have a light. This is bright enough so it can be seen during the day, and it's bright enough at night so it can light up the path ahead of you. And on the back here we have the rear light. Now I wish this would have been a bit brighter and maybe would have had a few modes to like flash or something like that. So it's there, it can be seen, but it could have been a bit better. And I kind of wish it would have had like a brake light, so whenever you're braking that light would come on. But no, it just stays on at all times. I mean, you can turn it on and off together with that front light. The seat is adjustable in height, of course, like any other bike out there. Since the bike is quite big, you're probably gonna have to have this lower. Now, there is a lot of padding in here as well, so you can ride comfortably for about an hour and a half, then you're gonna have to take a break. But overall, the seat is comfortable for the most part. Moving on to the handlebar. So the handlebar here is nice and wide, so whenever you're riding the bike, you don't feel cramped at all. Of course, we have the brake levers on the left and on the right. Here we also have a little bell. Then we have the buttons on the left hand side here, so you can power on or off the bike. You just hold the power button there. On the right hand side here we have the shifter. Here I haven't had any issues whenever I'm shifting up or down the gears, so the shifter is nice and smooth. And then we have the accelerator here. Now I believe this is gonna be different depending on the market where you're actually buying the bicycle. Here in Europe, you can only accelerate up to 6 kilometers an hour from the accelerator here. So you basically use that whenever you start riding the bike. So you don't have to put that much pressure into pedaling, but you're not gonna be able to ride on electric power only. So you always have to pedal. Now, whenever you're pedaling, you don't actually have to put that much power into pedaling. The bike will assist you right away. So I think that has to do with the regulations depending where the bike is being sold. But here in Europe, you cannot go electric only just by accelerating. You always have to pedal. In the center here, we also have the display. The display will show you how much battery you have. It will show you the speed. It will show you what mode you are in and how many kilometers you've done. You can also switch in between a couple of things from the I button right here. The display is also visible in direct sunlight, so it doesn't matter how bright it is or how dark it is, you're always going to be able to see the speed that you're doing and the mode that you're in. Alright, so next I want to take you for a short bike ride. I just want to show you how the bike works, how those modes work, how the pedaling works and so on. So you have a better understanding of how an electric bike like this one would be able to assist you whenever you are riding it. So let me take that camera and put it on my chest here and we'll go for a ride. Okay, so let me quickly show you how this works. So we have the power button right here. You basically hold this press for about 3 seconds or so, and then the screen comes on. That means that the bike is on, and from here you can select what modes you want. So for now we're gonna go in mode number 3. So this is the mode of assistance number 3. From here, of course, we have the headlights as well. So now we have the headlights on as well. Alright, so how this works, we have the accelerator here. As I said, you can accelerate up to 6 kilometers an hour. So you would use that whenever you want to start moving, basically, because if you have it in a higher gear, it may be more difficult to push those pedals to start moving right away. So we're going to accelerate to this. So the bike starts moving, and then you can start pedaling right away. And as soon as you start pedaling, the motor will assist you. So in this particular mode, the top speed that we have is 17 kilometers an hour. If I move up to mode number 4, I believe it's about 25 kilometers an hour, and you don't actually have to put that much power into pedaling. Actually, I'm not putting any power into pedaling because the bike does help you quite a lot. So this is the same level of pedaling that you're gonna have to do in pretty much all modes. As I said, the modes only change the top speed. We have a bit of more uneven terrain around here. We are gonna go around here. Of course, since we have these massive tires, there is really no problem going over uneven terrain like this, even though it is a bit bouncy, I'm gonna say. Hopefully you can see okay on the camera, because the camera was quite bouncy there. So if we switch the mode to number 4 and 5, of course, we'll basically reach the top speed. And as I said, you don't actually have to put any power into pedaling because the bike will always assist you. And as you can see, my knees here don't hit the handlebar no matter what you do. So yeah, this is how easy it is to basically ride this bicycle. As for the range, well, according to the manufacturer, you can get up to 100 kilometers on one charge. I believe that you can actually buy a separate battery for the bike and extend the range with that, but I haven't looked into that. Now, realistically, you're going to be able to get around 60 to 70 kilometers on one charge, depending how you ride the bicycle, of course. If you're riding only uphill, probably a bit lower than that. If you're heavier, you're going to get a bit lower than that. But if you ride mostly on flat surfaces, you don't use the bike at the top speed, of course, you're going to be able to extend that range. So it all depends how you're riding the bike, but you could easily get about 60 kilometers on one charge. So to quickly conclude this video, the Himiway Cruiser is a very unique looking bike. Of course, that has a lot to do with these massive tires that we have on the front and on the back here. So if you want the bike that will turn heads everywhere you go, well, this is it, because everyone looks at it whenever you're riding. And of course, that has a lot to do with those massive tires. The tires are also great for comfort. So if you want to be even more comfortable, of course, you can deflate these a bit. We have that front suspension that helps. I kind of wish we would have had a rear suspension, but I guess the price of the bike would have been a bit higher with the rear suspension as well. The braking power on it is really good, and we get a lot of power as well. The only thing I wish the bike would have had was an adjustable handlebar in height, because whenever I'm riding, I feel that I'm putting too much pressure on my wrists whenever I'm holding this, because the handlebar is not high enough. So I wish the handlebar would have been adjustable in height. But other than that, I do like this bicycle quite a lot. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.